It's Monday, and you know what that means. It's time for another unboxing. And this week, I'm finally going to unbox the device that I was planning to unbox last week, but then the Anbernic RG477M came in, and I had to wait. But alas, it is finally time for the R36T Retro TV. What exactly does that mean? Let's find out right after this. Hey fam, Swati Tukon Crap Pinik here, and before we get into the R36T, I wanted to show you real quick. The first winner of the member giveaway has received their gift, and as you can see on the screen that they actually chose to get a desk mat like I film my videos on. They could have also chosen a t-shirt with the controller part of the logo on the front and the full logo on the back. Conversely, they could have also chosen a coffee mug with the full logo on it, or they could have chosen this, a wooden box that inside of it has a wooden flash drive, and that flash drive is 128 gigabytes. On one end is a USB-C, and on the other side is a USB-A, so it's good on basically any device that you'd want to connect and store data remotely. But again, they chose the desk mat, so congratulations. I'm glad that they were able to get theirs fairly quickly. And here's to the next member giveaway. Remember, you need to subscribe both to the website and to the blog. The reason you need to subscribe to the blog is I cannot contact you directly through YouTube, as YouTube does not allow direct messages. And of course, on my own blog, I control it, so I'm able to do that. So when you sign up on both platforms, just send me a message and let me know that you have subscribed on the YouTube channel and your YouTube name shows as X, so I can add you to the selection wheel, and hopefully you'll win the next one. Good luck. So without further ado, let's get started with unboxing the R36T. So this is an interesting little device. Just to kind of go over it here. It is running EMuEMEC. EMuEMEC is a really great front-end piece of software that runs on Linux, so it makes it easy for plug and play for you to get started right away. Of course, the processor is a Rockchip RK3326, which is more than powerful enough for PlayStation 1 and below. It does include 1 gigabyte of RAM, 8 gigabytes of internal storage, and then, of course, that's for the operating system, and that's for EMuEMEC. You also get a card with it, either 64 or 128 gigs. You can see the different consoles on here. Of course, you have PSP and you have Dreamcast, but just be aware that those can be a little stuttery on this chip, just depending on how demanding the game is. You have a 3.5 millimeter screen that's 640 by 480. And it is an IPS display, so it should look good. This has a 3000 milliamp hour battery. And of course, charge this only at 5 volts, 2 amps. So again, this is one of those devices only use a phone charger from 15 years ago. Do not try to use a phone charger from the last 5 years. You could either fry it or it won't charge it. And you do have 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi, so good for slow, basic Wi-Fi stuff, not too demanding, but again, you're not getting something like with Android on it. So 2.4 should be more than you need, especially for a device that only costs about $30. And you do get RGB support around the analog stick. You'll notice I said analog stick, not sticks, because there's only one analog stick. And there is OTG wireless controller support, so you can connect a controller to it, and of course, online multiplayer. So there you go. Well, let's take a look and see. Before I open this up, I'm going to show you the colors that this comes in. It comes in black, white, gray, red, and light blue. Let me know down in the comment section below, if you were to pick up one, which one would you pick and why? All right, so back to the unboxing. As you can see, I haven't opened this up in the slightest bit, or either that or else I have a shrink wrap machine, but I'll leave you to decide which way it is. Like I said, I was going to unbox this last week, but when the Anbernic came in, I put this on hold. So let's take a look. So already better than a lot of devices that cost a lot more. This costs about $30. And as you can see, it comes with its own case. Kind of a faux carbon fiber with red accents, red being my favorite color, so I'm not going to complain there. Now, I'm not sure if the accents match the device or if they're all this way, but of course, this is just one I have. So then we take a look here, nice little zipper there, handle thing, perfect. So inside, we do get USB-A to USB-C, not very long, but should be long enough. We do get an instruction manual. Again, simple enough. I appreciate it. It's 100% in English though, so if you're not comfortable reading English, I can always recommend Google Lens. Google Lens, you can hover over it and it will translate it into your language of choice. So good. And as you can see, this is a vertical handheld. I figured we had been doing enough horizontal that it was time to go back to a vertical for a bit. But I like that we have our little storage pouch there. And some extra protection. Always good to have protection. So we got our white bag and our white protector. Okay, there we go. So I got the gray. I couldn't remember if I chose red or not, honestly. Now you can see one of the unique things about this is we have the dish 4-way D-pad / 8-way D-pad. Makes it quite interesting. We have a function button, quite clicky. Good thing the D-pad's not really clicky. We have a Nintendo Switch style stick. We have start and select that are also super clicky. A little bit less clicky on the face buttons, the 4-way D-pad, or face buttons rather. And then we have our arched, as you can see here, makes it more comfortable to play, arched shoulder buttons. So on this side, we have the TFOS card. So this is the micro SD card slot. We have a reset button, power button. We have our 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. We have our OTG USB-C port, our DC, which of course is charging interface, so via USB-C as well. And we have our volume rocker. Down below, we have a downward firing speaker. All right, the model is called, this is called what it is, because this is supposed to be like an old school TV from the 90s and before. So let's get it started up. I don't know if you can kind of see, but yeah, it's trying to be like an old analog CRT TV. Kind of a cool gimmick. Like I say, I have to admit, even though these are clicky, they feel good in the hand because of their staggered nature, where the R2 and L2 are a little bit higher. Retro TV. Okay, so you can see here I got some RGB light here. I don't know if you can see the colors officially or not, but it is definitely multicolored. I'll turn down the volume. Okay. I mean, it surprisingly feels good. I can't deny it. Definitely interesting though. I've never had a dish style D-pad. So you can see here it tells you what game or what console you're looking at and how many games you have for that console. And then it's also giving you instructions down here on what you can do. So for example, PlayStation, there are 23 games. So then you can come in here and you can see the box art that has been scraped. This isn't showing up as vibrant as it is on the screen. On my screen, looking at it heads on, it definitely looks good and vibrant. All right, let's try crash. Just a little status LED, if you can see that there. Yeah, you can. Yeah, I think you can see the RGB. Kind of interesting. And it does do a good approximation of a CRT screen with that kind of waviness to it. I kind of like how the glass is curved. The sound is actually sounding pretty decent. And you can see this is meant to look like the old school knobs that we had on TVs in the 80s and 90s as well. Who remembers turning up the volume up and down by moving your hand like you're opening a jar almost? Of course, these are the Nintendo layout versus the Xbox layout. You can tell that because Nintendo does BAYX versus Xbox does ABXY. But once you're in the game, of course, it recognizes it like a PlayStation controller, which this would be X, which would be how you'd enter the games. This has such a cool little vibe to it. I remember seeing my friend play Crash for the first time, and I was in awe of that game. It just looked really cool. Okay, double select and it brings you back. It says menu, press select. So you can see there, beautiful emulator, native video, aspect ratios. You can turn on shaders, integer scaling, bezels, enable max performance. You can sort your game list. Like I say, you can see this is just very easy to get around. I appreciate that. Controller settings. You can remap your controller if you want to. User interface, retro. So you can choose different ones, of course. Epicody Retro TV. You can have your screensaver. You can tell it to show the flags of the country of origin for the games. Okay. So network settings, of course, that's where you'd go to turn on your Wi-Fi if you want to turn on your Wi-Fi. Very easy to do. '26 PlayStation. Of course, we have God of War. We have quite a few games. Like I said, you're just accustomed to pushing right where the D-pad would be, so that's good. I like these humps. The nice humps give it good ergonomics because you can lock your hand into the controller much better than a flat back. So I appreciate that. So that said, I'm not going to make this video any longer. I think that this is a good unboxing video. I'll get to play around with it for a week. I think people at church and whatnot will think that this is quite the unique looking device. Most of them were born after CRTs were a thing, really. So they wouldn't have seen a CRT, whereas I grew up having a CRT. Heck, in my room in middle school, I had a TV that was black and white. So I'm not that old. It's just that that was a good cheap TV and I wanted to have a TV in my room. So got it at a garage sale. So let me know what you think of this device down in the comment section below. I look forward to hearing your comments. And like I say, if you can think of any game that you want me to try, I'll be happy to give it a try because I make these reviews for you. And I want you to be able to know if this is worth your investment or not. So until next time, this has been Kine.